Hey, what's going on, guys? So I just wanted to bring you another one of these sort of prediction videos that I kind of been doing. So I did one for the first Outbreak Easter egg, I did one for the second one, and I wanted to do one now for the upcoming events that are coming in DLC 4 and for the end of Cold War. So, to kind of just jump right into it, the Forsaken plot is kind of what's been going on. That's kind of like what everything is revolving around. Is basically there's this big bad evil inside the Dark Aether, and he basically wants to get out and get into the real world. And when he's there in the real world, he's going to basically destroy everything. So that's why we're trying to keep him out. And at the end of Mauer Tone, basically we closed off his gateway that Valentino was trying to open up, and now he's kind of trying to get other people to get him into the Dark Aether, which I'll touch on that later. But I just want to let you know that's what's going on with him. So to kind of go through each faction, Maxis right now, she's basically being held by Requiem, and especially like the director, he has like direct orders for her to be in this thing called Block 8. And basically it's like where people like her, he says, quote unquote, are kept. And what I think this is referring to is that it's people that like have superpowers or have some tie to the Dark Aether. I'm guessing that's what he means. There isn't really much intel for it, but it's definitely something to keep in mind, and it's definitely something very interesting if the CIA has more people that have superpowers in the universe. Like we may be able to actually like access these superpowers, or maybe it's just like a one-off thing. Who knows? But it's interesting to note that there are more people in the world that have superpowers, not just Samantha and Eddie, who were from the old universe. There's actual more people that have it. Whether or not this will come into play, I'm not sure, but I just thought it was important to note. Anyway, so she's basically being held by Requiem right now, and she's basically being interrogated because they want the director basically wants to gain control of her powers, as you'll see in this clip of intel right now.
Wake up. Wake up.
Where am I? Where's Natso?
You will answer our questions. Do you understand?
Who the hell are you?
That's not important. What's important is who you are. What is your name?
Fuck you.
Where were you born?
Kiss my ass.
Your name is Samantha Maxis. You were born in Berlin, November 5th. Is that correct? Is that correct?
I don't know. Everything is different now.
Oh, I know that better than you.
Where am I?
You're in Block 8. A facility specifically designed to take care of people like you.
Take care of people like me?
You're here to undergo some specialized tests.
What kind of tests?
You'll find out soon enough. The Dark Aether changed you in many ways. I just need you to know how much.
You don't know anything about me.
Really? I think you're going to be very surprised.
Hello, Mr. Director.
Oh, you heard me come in. You're very perceptive, aren't you? Do you know how long you've been here?
Not counting bathroom breaks and mandatory exercise. 15 days. As of today.
And still no breakthrough?
What kind of breakthrough do you want? Your only goal seems to be trying to make me angry. But I'm not. Just disappointed.
You're probably going to be more disappointed when this session is over. You do know that none of them really care for you. Strauss, Carver, we as to your current situation.
That's not true. They wouldn't want me to be here. You're just trying to manipulate me. Test my emotional responses.
Like you did with them. Do you even know how much trouble you caused for your Requiem friends? Going behind their backs on your little secret squirrel mission with Ravenov.
I looked Weaver in the eye when I was taken to be brought here. He didn't want this.
You like him, don't you?
Not in the way you think. We just have history. Shared history. Shared trauma. You wouldn't understand.
I do understand. In fact, I was very forgiving about the whole thing. I mean, given Weaver's failures and lapses in security, I could easily have had him disappeared.
Don't test me.
Maybe I still should.
I'm warning you.
What on earth could you possibly do to me? You really are just a pathetic, sad, little, lost Oh dear. I suppose we'll have to replace that glass now. But at least we're making progress.
So as you can see, I find that some of the voice lines from the director really do sound like Eddie. I don't know if it's Eddie. No one really knows if it is. A lot of people think it is. I personally think it is. And it's just some of the lines that he says are just, it just sounds like something that he would say. I don't know how to describe it. It's just something like I could see him like speaking out of his mouth. But I know that the American accent kind of throws it off, like some people are saying. But maybe like there's some work around it, because I know like Samantha in Origins was American, and then she was not American in the future maps. So maybe they'll have some way to explain it. I don't know, but basically that's where Max is being held in right now. She's basically held inside this facility, and she's being interrogated. And basically what my predictions for what's going to happen to her is, I think that she's going to either break out or she's going to be let out. I don't think that by the end of the season she's going to like cooperate with the director and do what he wants her to do. I don't think he's going to let them harvest her powers. I just don't feel like that's something that she would do, and I feel like she's going to basically get tired of it, and she's going to want to break free and basically get out. Or maybe she might be let out by Gray or someone, or Weaver or whoever, in order to like let her out and leave. That's kind of what I'm predicting, because I just don't feel like they would push the story in the direction where she becomes friends with the director, even though she's putting him through, or he's putting her through so much pain. I just don't feel like that would be the case. So anyway, what's happening with Requiem is we don't really have too much information. The main document that we have basically just talks about like these dark ether portals basically opening up, and they're basically more dark ether portals are opening up around the world. That's why we have the outbreak zone in Collateral, and presumably the next one in Crossroads. It's basically going to be more outbreak, anomalies popping up all over the world, basically trying to terraform the region so that everything becomes part of the dark ether, so that all the zombies can live there, and eventually the Forsaken can make his way in. And so that's kind of what's been happening, and the intel basically describes Major Carver basically and Weaver, like in all of them, basically saying we need to find a more like, because right now they have like the short-term ways of closing down the breaches, like by blowing up the crystals in the outbreak zones, like to stop the terraforming. That's kind of their short-term goal or short-term solution, but there are long-term solutions that they're looking for, because those short-term solutions won't work. They need a long-term solution to fix the dark ether from coming in, because it's not a matter, to quote the intel, it's not a matter of will the dark ether take over the world, it's when it will. So that's kind of what's been going on. So my guess is that they're basically just going to be working on, like I said, they have like this new project that they're doing. Basically they're trying to get rid of these dark ether crystals from terraforming the regions. So that's kind of what their focus is right now. Now for Omega side of things, they're obviously happy that Valentina is gone. and they're, you know, kind of like building up their infrastructure back, you know, building up the Omega team back, you know, after they lost the strike team in Toten. And so what's happening with them is that they're basically, they have like a new operation. It's all classified, but they have a new operation that they're working on, and no one can really tell what this is going to be. I'm going to get onto my thoughts on it in a sec, but basically this new operation is going to take a lot of crystals. We know this because of one of the intels. Basically it describes in the outbreak zones where they're getting all their, you know, high concentrated Ethereum, there has been an increase in the amount of zombies there, says Gorov, and basically he's saying that like their teams basically won't be able to handle it. And what he predicts is that it's the Forsaken, basically, instead of manipulating people like he did with Valentina, maybe he's instead trying to be like, oh yeah, I will basically force a bunch of zombies into your world so that if you don't let me in, then basically they're gonna have to like suffer the wrath of the things. That's kind of what's been going on with them. Other than that though, you know, Gorov, you know, he's just kind of like continuing his operations. Kravchenko, he's speaking about this new operation that they have that's going to do something. We don't quite know much about it yet. And Peck, right now, he's working with Zykov to create some new thing that's basically going to stop the Forsaken. Their agreement is that if Zykov can come home, like Peck can bring Zykov home, then basically he will help him take down the Forsaken.
I hope you understand now what is at stake, my friend. The Forsaken. It wields a dangerous power.
Yeah, no kidding. Valentina nearly cost us all our jobs. That and almost destroying the world.
Next time we will not be so lucky. He has seen a demonstration of your capabilities. He will not make the same mistakes again.
Hey, with any luck, we'll have him making all new ones. Thanks to you.
So, your commander has signed off on our proposal?
Not just yet, but I'm making progress. We'll have you home before you know it, as agreed.
And in turn, I will honor my part of the deal and help you kill the Forsaken. You have my schematics for the machine?
That and the piece you built yourself. Listen, Zykov, I need to level with you. This is going to take some time to construct. Your design, it's a technical feat. I've never seen anything like it. It's overwhelming. This will take some time to wrap my head around.
Your transparency is why I know you are the perfect man for the job. You respect the science and difficulty of the task. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread. You are wise not to treat this lightly.
So that's kind of where we're at with all the factions in this universe right now. And as for my prediction of DLC 4, what's actually going to happen in it, I'm going to get into that just now. Basically, we have a few directions on which way we can go. So, number one, which I think it's going to be, is we are going to not fight Omega like some people are thinking. I don't think we're going to like fight Omega in Russia, or like we're going to have to like defend the homeland from Omega, like America or whatever. I don't think that's going to be the case, because there aren't any really reasons for why these two factions would go after each other. I mean, maybe Weaver's mad about the strike team, but he got them back, so there's not really any reasons why they should go after each other. Maybe this new operation that the Omega has maybe is like to make targeted breaches inside of the states. That might be what it is. Maybe they're going to target a region inside the states, and then they're going to spawn in like zombies there, so that basically takes over, like kills Requiem or whatever. Maybe that could be it, but I feel like that would be a lame finale. So what I'm more leaning towards is that, you know, it's not like we're going to go in and like be operatives and go kill Omega troops, because how would that be a zombies map? Because it's like you can't just go in and kill the Omega troops and they have no zombies, because obviously it wouldn't be a zombies map, and vice versa. Defending the home country without any zombies wouldn't make sense. So what I think is going to happen is basically we're going to be sent into the Dark Aether. And there's a couple of reasons I want to support this with, but mainly want to like hammer this down that I don't think that Omega and Requiem actually have any like problems towards each other right now, at least, because even Kravchenko in Mauer Tone, he specifically says that like the missiles from Operation Inversia were basically used to draw the Forsaken into the world. They weren't used to basically destroy Requiem or anything like that. So they're basically, they each have different agendas, not to destroy each other, but more to in how they can get access to the Dark Aether and the stuff in it. So what I feel like we're going to do is go into the Dark Aether and actually destroy the Forsaken. And there are a few reasons, like I said, to, you know, back this up. But my whole reason, the whole reasoning for it is that, you know, we have this new operation that's going on. We basically need to stop the crystals from terraforming the regions. How else are we going to do that by other than going into the Dark Aether and actually stopping what's causing them in the first place? And to support that as well is that I don't feel like there's going to be a map where we go to Russia and defeat Omega troops. I just don't feel like it's going to happen. So that's my personal theory, is that we're going to go into the Dark Aether, destroy these crystals, do something to basically defeat the Forsaken, and get out of there. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And maybe we might see Omega in there. We might have to work together with them, like Craig said in one of his interviews. I think it was Season 4 Reloaded, where he basically said we're dealing with powers of good, evil, better, good, and worse evil. He said that. So maybe it's going to be about like, oh yeah, we have to team up with each other in order to defeat this force, and then maybe Maxis can help them out as like the even better good, or like a different sort of good that's kind of hoping for the same thing, just going out about it a different way with Ravenov. Maybe that could be the case, who knows. But I feel like that's what's been kind of going on. Now, another thing I just wanted to point out was that there was a new bundle released in the shop for Weaver. It's like the reconnaissance suit. Basically, it's for going into the Dark Aether and exploring in there. And I think that this heavily supports the theory about heading into the Dark Aether, because it's like, it kind of directly teasing, you know, that that like, or like going along with the theme that, oh yeah, we're going into the Dark Aether inside of like these suits, and basically, you know, going inside the land, because it's kind of dangerous, so you obviously would need some kind of suits for it. It kind of goes along with the theme. I thought I would just point it out here as some further evidence. That kind of concludes what I was talking about. I just, like, the main points I just wanted to hammer down were that, like, for as far as my predictions go, I feel like we're going to be heading into the Dark Aether itself in the next DLC, and basically we're going to be destroying the crystals from terraforming the regions, and basically destroying the Forsaken himself. And I feel like Maxis is going to break out of containment, either, or maybe be let out, who knows. And I feel like in the final DLC we might be teaming up with Omega to actually destroy the Forsaken, and definitely going to be using Zykov to help us out with Peck's device. Who knows what it's actually going to be, the device itself, but basically Peck got sent the schematics, and he has like his way that he's going to basically bring back Zykov, and they're going to destroy the Forsaken together. And one more thing I wanted to touch on was this last piece of intel. It's only for Onslaught, so you might not actually know about it. It's for Echelon. Basically, the Forsaken is not only trying to, you know, push troops into the world, so that to draw like the people to basically let him into the world. He's also trying to manipulate other people. For example, Eric from the Echelon station is basically, he starts to, or he actually doesn't get manipulated, but the Forsaken tries to manipulate him through an encoded message that basically the Forsaken tries to portray himself as his wife that's trapped inside the Dark Aether. Basically, he needs to open up a portal using a few steps in order to travel to the world and save her. But luckily, Eric doesn't actually decode the message before he gets basically brought out to the CIA, basically because there's an outbreak zone in Echelon. But yeah, so it proves that the Forsaken is trying other means to get people in, to open up his world. So who knows? He might actually make our way into the world. I might be completely wrong, but I feel like what we're going to do is we're going to use this new project that Requiem's working on, go into the Dark Aether, destroy the crystals, kill the Forsaken, maybe team up with Omega while we're doing that, and Maxis is going to break out of her cell. That's pretty much my theory. That's my predictions. We don't have much information right now, but I feel like that's, you know, pretty concrete. There's a little bit of evidence there. It's not just, you know, blind firing speculation. And that's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff if you enjoyed. and peace out.